Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games within the Game Pass collection, bringing you three new perspectives from varying skill range. I am the one who always says hi to life, Andrew. With me, the one who needs to get a life, Keith.
Hello.
And the one who sounds like she's at the end of her life, Liz.
Hey, guys.
I will say you do sound much better today, Liz.
Thanks.
But you're still a little sick. But thank you for still being here and doing this. So if you couldn't tell, this week we played High on Life, which was a listener request. Thank you so much to the user, The Funky Cat, from our YouTube channel, who recommended that we play High on Life by Squanch Games. High on Life is a first-person shooter metroidvania platformer where you are you are a human who is trying to save your fellow humans because Earth has been captured by an evil alien cartel who figured out that they can use humans to actually get high. So you are trying to save humanity with your trusty talking guns. But just a quick disclaimer, if you don't know anything about High on Life, it is a very mature game. So even though we try to steer from some mature topics here, it's kind of avoidable with this game. So if you have young ones around, we probably recommend that you do not listen to this episode because there's a lot of inappropriate stuff in this game. But Keith, what'd you think of High on Life?
So I don't know, this game came with big accolades, or at least like a lot of hype, and I guess I was a little concerned that I liked Rick and Morty when it came out, and I know this game isn't Rick and Morty, but it's made by the same studio, and towards the end of it, I kind of started to tire of the show because I get a little bit over the top with the consistent, excessive graphic humor, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes it was a little
shock value for the sake
game,
of shock value.
Exactly, and I know we have history of shock value on this this podcast, but sometimes it gets a little bit tiresome, and I was a little afraid this game was going to cross the line. It does at times, however, it was far better than I expected, and I genuinely enjoyed like all the little corners and little hidden jokes and things like that. So overall, it was a game, and I was very pleasantly surprised. But yeah, definitely just don't play this game around anybody you'd be embarrassed to hear uncomfortable things about, or in front of small children, recommendably, I would say.
Yes, 100%. So yeah, I'm with you, Keith. This is a game for me as well. I was kind of lukewarm about High on Life. Anytime I saw trailers and stuff for it, I'm not too crazy about Justin Roiland humor. Like I prefer Dan Harmon, like balancing him out with Rick and Morty, but like his own projects of like Solar Opposite, I didn't care for as much because to me it's just excessive cursing. I felt like just to try to be funny and edgy, and it just kind of gets annoying. And that's what I was afraid of with High on Life. And at times, like you said, Keith, it is kind of like that. It is just like, here's some potty humor and sex jokes and a lot of cursing, and it's just like, okay. But there's some writing in this game that is just that is actually really clever and really funny. But the thing I really actually appreciate about High on Life, because I was afraid about this when I saw the trailers, I thought the shooting looked awful. But yeah, the shooting isn't great, but it's kind of actually a positive for this game because like this is a first-person shooter that it's a dying breed of, it's a first-person shooter where it isn't like a sweaty kind of first-person shooter. Like you can actually chill and relax and just like shoot some aliens, and I don't feel like, oh man, this is a super hard boss, this is a super hard segment, I don't know how to beat it. Like it's just kind of a relaxing game, which is kind of nice. So yeah, this is a game for me, but I'm going to reiterate what Keith says. Absolutely do not play this around small children because you're just going to be hearing a whole lot of curses and a whole lot of inappropriate jokes.
For me, it's a game. I didn't find it overly addictive, and I think I kind of disagree with you guys. If I understood you correctly, so for me, Rick and Morty fan, which I think of course we're going to talk about it because the guy that voices Morty, he uses the same voice, the same way that he talks, same graphic style, and this is like, and there's stuff I recognize, like little story bits from episodes of Rick and Morty. So of course I'm going to compare it because they're using it in the game, even if they don't say that they are. But Rick and Morty, I feel like, does the humor so much better. I feel like there was way too much like shock value and just overdoing it with like the potty jokes and stuff. And we'll get into it more later, but I just felt like it was so overdone in this, and it definitely doesn't have some of the character and the charm that is in Rick and Morty. And so for me, I did enjoy the game, but I'd rather watch Rick and Morty.
So getting into the story, as I said, with High on Life, you are a human that's on Earth. You are a teenager that just graduated high school. Your parents are kind of disappointed in you because you don't really have any prospects in your life. You just kind of are staying home playing video games. But your parents went on a trip, so it's just you and your sister stuck at your house. But, of course, it's not a normal day. Aliens come and invade Earth, and you end up discovering a talking gun. They're called Gatlians. And, of course, it's voiced by Justin Roiland. You know, you got Kenny, he was kind of a simple pistol, but he's kind of your guide through this adventure as he takes you to outer space to try to become a bounty hunter and try to hunt down the cartel and try to save humanity. Yeah, overall, the story, I think, is kind of interesting. But Liz, you just made the point that I didn't really think about, and that is this game kind of does lack the charm. I did not care about any of the characters. I like the Gatlians, the guns that you have. They kind of have some funny quips about them and say kind of funny things. But there's these other characters in the story that I really did not care about.
And there's like plot holes right at the beginning. So if I remember correctly, the parents were talking about how they're disappointed because the main character's sister got into like a really great school and she's so smart and you're just playing video games. The sister's dumb as soup. Yeah. And she is like the sister in Rick and Morty with like her interactions with aliens. Like she's just like, oh, I'm the first alien that I see. I'm going to date. And the stuff that she's
I didn't think about that. She is, just like Summer.
And she was like, wasn't she doing cocaine at the beginning?
Yeah, right at the beginning does cocaine.
But yeah, she was texting her like, oh, is it safe to go outside? They're talking about how like people are getting high off of humans and stuff. You're on an alien planet. Some alien like just gave you a gun and like, is crapping himself on your couch, and you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go wander around. So from a plot hole, like right from the beginning, and for me, like the big thing with this game is like Morty is like the worst character on Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
Rick is like he like everything you think about him, he admits to, and he thinks that he's worse than he actually is. So you always he always like projects himself as even more negative. Morty pretends to be a good guy when really he's awful. Yeah. Like Rick never tried to rape anybody in the show, you know, and Morty is just like pretending to be good. And then the character Kenny, which I mean I might as well call him Morty, but I won't. But he like it does that thing in Rick and Morty where he's like, I can't believe you did that. But it's like, what are you doing that's so great? You know, I'm the one trying to save an entire planet. Like, shut your stinking pie hole. Morty's the worst. You need a balance with the second you hear his voice, you're like, you need Rick.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
In which, yeah, your character is completely voiceless, which this is one of the first jokes I actually got kind of a chuckle out of. The scene that Liz was talking about where your sister's doing cocaine. You're looking in a mirror and you can change your character's, like, profile of like what race you are, what gender. And I remember seeing this and I'm just like, why am I doing this? I thought I wear a suit the entire time. And yeah, sure enough, it is completely pointless that you're
and they call you they later on. They don't actually call you
they don't
by
call
the
you by a
gender that you
name.
pick.
They don't call you by a gender. It's completely irrelevant as to you picking your character. So it is kind of just a small joke that I thought was kind of funny. But I agree. I wish your character talked a little.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so much dialogue between the guns constantly talking, everybody you're interacting with. I didn't really care. No, but and again, I don't know. I think I stopped watching Rick and Morty somewhere around them living on a tiny planet or something. Like, what's that, 3-4 seasons ago?
Yeah, I think that was season 3.
But I do agree that I think that there's a like an overall balance because there really is just so much crossover in this game. But no, I don't know. I don't think it's a plot hole so much as it's just an overused trope of like any storytelling that it's like, oh, she's perfect and seems awesome, but she's actually the worst of them, like you said. And, you know, your character seems like a loser, but he's the one who's saving humanity. So it's kind of just like a storytelling lazy thing that they do for chuckles, I think, or at least some sort of shock value, shock value, but like, I don't know.
How can
twist
someone
to it in a
that
way.
Dumb get into a good college though? Like there's different like types of, you know, not being like street smart, not being like there's different types. And so for me, she's just plain dumb. That's why I'm just like, that's why I feel like it's a plot hole where, and she's also like doing cocaine. Like she doesn't really give a crap. I don't know. I disagree. I think it's a big plot hole.
I don't know. And I'm not trying to, I just think of like, and I know this is like the 80s, but like those 80s Wall Street movies, the people who were running Wall Street, they were intelligent people, but yeah, they were doing all sorts of bad stuff, and I don't know, they were kind of dumb in their own way. But I like overall the story I didn't care for, but I liked the interactions. And other than, I think you're right, I didn't necessarily care about any character. Like I wasn't drawn to them, but I was interested, and I thought they were all unique and different enough.
I also remember, so I don't want to give any spoilers, but there's a situation that I was hesitant to help someone because I remembered something happening in Rick and Morty, and I was like, this is deja vu. And then it turns out exactly what I thought was going to happen, where someone like betrays you. And I was just like, I knew it. It's so for me, that's another interaction that I was kind of bummed about. And also like, so we're talking earlier about kind of like the crudeness, and like it lays on heavy with like, I mean, I thought at the very beginning they were already doing too much because I love fart jokes. I love, like, I laugh when I hear farts. I think they're hysterical.
Yep, that's why you love me.
Yeah, that's why I married you.
Because I'm farting all the time.
But even at the beginning, like, the potty humor was laying on too thick, where the guy kept talking about him crapping himself because he was lazy. And then I soon after meet some guy that's selling buckets of something I feel like I shouldn't say.
No, are you going to give a warning? You can.
Oh, well, anyways, I mean, I don't even want to say it because that's just not my, it seemed like you're walking by two people having conversation. The guy's like talking to his friend about how much he loves like sexual torture. And I'm just like, the little conversations like that over and over and over again. It's just like the creators of this, it's just like, I don't understand this humor. Is it humor? I don't.
It's like, it's just shock value. You didn't even see the worst of it. There's a hidden warp disc that you can get where it summons a puzzle, and somebody is at the top of a bunch of pipes on a toilet who wants to poop, and his friend is at the end of the pipe, wants to eat his friend's poop. So you have to try to connect and make the puzzles go together. So his friend, and it's just like, what is this? Like it's another thing of just like jokes like that. I agree with you, Liz. I'm just like, this is weird.
It's weird. Like it's like, I don't understand if it's a humor that is just over my head, and I'm maybe
because it's not like it's clever.
Well,
it's not trying to like make a statement.
Prude, but it's like, am I a prude, or is there like a lack of like maturity or like emotional maturity? Maybe I don't mean this in like in a mean way, but I just like, I don't understand why, like how it's funny. Maybe if anybody loves the humor in this game, I would love for you to tell me like why. I'm not judging. I'm not saying this in a judgy way. I just don't.
It sounds judgy.
It does, but I really would love to understand, because online there were people that were like, I laughed the entire game, and I'm just like, please tell me what jokes you thought were funny, and let me know like why, because I just don't get it.
Well, there's a couple, like there wasn't a lot of times where I was cracking up laughing, but there was a couple. There's a good amount of times I'm chuckling.
Yeah, me too.
The Mac and Cheese Brothers, I thought were really funny. The little boy who keeps pushing you, calling you fresh meat. That's a really funny joke.
There was that thing that kept like following you around. That was
the little robot. Yeah, he's hilarious.
And then you eventually do like have to kill him.
Yeah.
But like I was choosing not to kill people, and so like I would go around them, and they would like yell at me and stuff, and like hope that I fall and die. And same with like if I was talking to someone, I walked away from conversation and be like, oh yeah, I'm just talking here. I guess I'll just like, I thought it was really funny those parts.
Yeah.
And I want to say like in no way was I offended. I don't get offended by other people's humor. I just don't get it.
No, I totally agree with you, Liz. As far as like there's some moments where it gets a little bit over the top. Now, I think I found myself mostly smiling throughout. I think, like Andrew was saying,
yeah.
and you both were saying, I don't know. I was chuckling at points. There was at least one point where I openly laughed out loud, and I think it was probably the same point you did, Andrew, if I were to guess.
The final boss joke in the boss before him with an achievement joke were 1-2 moments that I really laughed.
Yeah, I think probably along the same. I don't know if we do a quick spoiler thing at the end or whatever, but overall it was like, huh, that's kind of funny. And I would stop and I would like watch the little TVs for a little bit. Some of the little bits of those things were kind of funny here and there. But I think that even though Dan Harmon wasn't involved in this, I'm pretty sure it's almost like those were the points that were showing well, when it was like there was one of the commercials for the sounds of a person trapped in a hole. Oh, yeah. And the songs were like, why am I down here? And like those parts were very genuinely funny to me.
Yeah.
But then, the poop tube, and I was like, this is just aggressive and unnecessary. I don't know. I didn't get that.
And you didn't even get a reward for it either.
No, there was no reason for it. I could have just walked away from it.
Yeah.
But I sat and did the whole thing. And it was one of those things where I'll even say at the very, like, when it first popped up, I was like, oh, hey, kind of funny. But unless you figure out that puzzle very quickly, you just sit and listen to them go on. And it's just, they start to repeat themselves even. So it's not like there's new dialogue. It just like, great, this is just gross now.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that felt that way. I was afraid because like I said, I did feel kind of prudish when I was playing it. But there was one guy that, so he was forced to make or watch, I think both. I think he was forced to make and watch alien porn. He's like, at first I didn't understand what was going on, but now I don't think I could go back to like regular porn, like human porn. And then I accidentally saved him. And so he's no longer going to be watching alien porn. And I was like, am I the bad guy here? Did you save him?
Yeah, did you save him?
That's what I was thinking, where I was like, because I forgot I saved the people in the cages. I didn't realize that any human you went up to and you hit that button that it prompts you that you would, save them. And I was like, oops.
I think I shot just about everyone it would let me.
Yeah, same here. I was laughing at Liz because like I didn't want to say to her, but of course it's always difficult for me to like sit in the same room when Liz is playing a game because she asks me 1,000 questions. Did you do this? Did you do this? And I try not to tell her what I did because I want her to experience these moments and I want to see what she's going to do.
Well, you lose achievements if you don't kill certain people, which I think is funny because I went the more passive route. But there was a couple people that I tried to kill and I couldn't kill. So there was a scientist like, you have to hit the button or I'm just going to push it anyways, which Kenny was like saying that was a bad person for it. But I wanted to kill the researcher because obviously she's like melding aliens together. She's doing evil stuff and it wouldn't let me kill the evil one. So for me, I just like, it was annoying. And
I mean, I just about try to shoot everybody because the gun at least warns you when you can't, when they're just like, no, I'm not killing this person, but I still at least try.
Construction workers were telling you like, oh, it's not safe. You can't go there. They were just doing their jobs, Yeah.
But then the mac and cheese brothers are pushing you. The mac and cheese brothers, I got a good chuckle out of.
I love how many enemies tried to push me off of things to die, and I got the jump pack, and I actually remembered to use it. I was so proud of myself. And then another thing I want to bring up is that training center where they were like, oh, you have to sit and wait for an hour. And I asked you, I was like, did anybody actually really do that?
Oh yeah, there's a joke if you wait there for an hour.
Yeah, I feel like you should get an achievement if you actually do wait an hour. I did not. And there were times where that guy was sitting on the toilet taking a crap and was like, oh, no, I need to let you in. You have to wait for me. And I waited a while, and then I was just like, nah.
Did you really wait in the training center the whole hour?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I did watch. I mean, they didn't sit for the whole hour, but I did watch where someone did, and they made a video of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it just like congratulates you and opens the door or something.
No, the door breaks, and then he's like, "Oh, now you got to wait a week."
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember seeing it, but like those are the things that I appreciated about the writing of the game, though. Like, it wasn't the overall story. I thought it was just, you're hunting down the bad guys, and they didn't give you a whole lot of story about them other than they were a cartel of some sort. Yada yada. That was about it. Yeah. But I liked, like those little things as you went through it, and that's what kept me playing. And I think the gameplay was pretty fun too.
Yeah, the gameplay I think is nice. It's like I said, kind of at the beginning, what I liked about the gameplay, like, because I've seen a lot of people kind of complain about of just like, oh, it's too easy. It's just, you're fighting a lot of the same enemies, in which, yes, it is true. But I think it's more of a positive thing about this game because there are just a ton of hidden jokes and the environment is well designed and there's just hidden, like visual hidden jokes kind of thing too. And so this game is all about kind of you taking your time. And so since the combat's easy, like I was having fun with it. I never really felt stale with the combat, But it was nice not like being sweaty, like constantly like thinking like, oh, here's this very hard boss I got to fight, or here's a segment where there's too many of these hard enemies, or I got to do this and that. It was a relaxing kind of game.
I think one thing that bothered me, and this is nothing against the game, is that I feel like my favorite gun, personality wise, was probably Gus, I believe. But he was the one I used the least. You know, I
didn't care for Gus.
I used Knifey a lot because I just wanted to make him happy. I mean, he's a knife. What life is he gonna have? You know, and I used him a lot with like the small critters. But for me, I feel like I ended up using Sweezy a lot. She was kind of the worst character wise.
Yeah, all right. So you used the knife because you had pity on him because he's a knife.
Yeah, because I didn't stab Gene at the beginning, and so I already let him down once. Which I think there's an achievement for that.
Yep,
but I was just
Gene.
like, I mean, obviously you don't kill him, right?
No.
So it gave him so much joy, and I'm killing them anyways. And yeah. But I think like personality wise, Sweezy was my least favorite, and I was stuck with her a lot because she was great.
I was gonna say the knife was the one that annoyed me more than anybody.
Yeah, but he doesn't talk much. He talks like when you first get him, and then basically when you kill bosses, and that's it.
Yeah, and he still annoyed me the most by those because he was the one that was just the most over the top, and I get it. He's like a psychopath. But when he's like, oh, I get sexual gratification cutting things open, I'm like, jeez. And now it's just like, it's getting ridiculous, like annoying.
Yeah.
Almost. Like
Yeah.
it stopped being fun to me. His character did at least. Overall, all of the other guns I thought were very entertaining. I thought Gus was probably one of the least entertaining, although...
The detective part? Is he the detective part?
No, are you thinking of Creature?
Is it Creature?
Creature's the one that shoots the
No, Gus
is the shotgun.
Is my favorite, like personality wise. But is the Creature the one that does the detective voice later on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I do like him too.
Creature's absolutely my favorite.
Creature's my
I think
favorite.
he's the funniest. See, I didn't mind Kenny.
Yeah, he wasn't
and
bad.
then I kind of liked the sassy one too, the needler one.
Sweezy.
Sweezy. Yeah, I just called her the needler gun.
Yeah, she's 100% the needler from Halo.
But no, I Creature was my favorite, but that's just because it was Tim Robinson too, and I think Tim Robinson is hilarious. So I was a big fan of him. But I don't particularly think what's his name? No, I can't even think of his name. Shows how much I like him. The voice of Gus.
Oh, JB Smoove.
Yeah, I don't like JB Smoove that much. I think he's funny, but I don't know. So listening to his voice that much kind of annoyed me.
I don't know who
and
these
that's
people
why I didn't
are.
particularly care for him.
I obviously know who plays Kenny, but everybody else, like, they sounded vaguely familiar, but I don't have like a negative attachment to the voice.
So did you not look him up on IMDb?
I did, but I didn't recognize them. Like, their voices sounded familiar, but like I will say, even with Kenny,
really, their pictures, you don't recognize any of them? Like,
no, I'm like they look familiar. Like Betsy, Sweezy, and Tim, I recognize them, but I haven't seen them in enough that I know who they are. But I'm just saying I don't have a negative thing with the voices because I don't fully know who they are.
Yeah.
But Kenny, I still liked listening to him talk, except for when he was, doing like the holier than thou crap. But besides that, I liked him too.
Kenny definitely gave the most like story, the most like exposition.
Yeah.
But I'm 100% with you, Keith. I was all for Creature. I think he was the better gun because you don't have to aim with him. You literally just keep shooting. He's like a grenade launcher. You just kind of shoot out these alien babies and they just chase all the enemies down and kill them for you. And then his trick hole, which is like the secondary fire, is he mind controls an enemy for you. And I liked his personality wise because to me, he was like a sweet, innocent dummy. And that's just, I always loved like when he talked, like at one point you do a detective mode and the entire time he talks like a 40s detective, like a private eye. And it got me. I loved it.
I just got to that part. I didn't finish the game, but I like all of the characters in boss fights. Like I actually found myself switching a lot, which normally I just stick to one gun.
You're stuck with Kenny majority of the time.
No. The last one I did, I was freezing.
You were using Sweezy quite a bit in the last one. Yeah.
I don't use Gus as much, but I mean the other three, like I constantly rotate. And one thing I do want to say about the boss fights is that I actually got kind of bored with them like halfway through combat, and I switched to easy mode just to make it go faster. And then I would forget to turn normal back on. And the boss fights weren't awful. It just the first one really I thought was just too long. And I was happy that I still got an achievement after I switched it to story mode. Oh, that's what it's called, story mode. But I was curious what you guys played on.
I played a normal.
Yeah, I was gonna do the hard mode because like pretty early on I was like, all right, this isn't too bad. But then I looked and there was no achievements for anything, so I figured it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, that's why I didn't switch.
So I stuck to normal mode. I will say it was maybe the second or third to last boss. There was one of the bosses I did turn on easy mode for. It was the one where like you're flying around in a haze.
That's the second to last.
Yeah, that one drove me nuts. And honestly, even on story mode, it still took me probably like 10 minutes because thankfully you don't take much damage. But it's just I wasn't seeing the difference in which one I was supposed to shoot. And so that one actually bothered me a lot. Other than that, though, I thought it was all balanced enough and they were, at least the bosses were unique and fun to fight.
Yeah, I disagree with you, Liz. I enjoyed the boss fights. I thought the boss fights were cool.
I liked them. I just thought they overstayed their welcome. Like I actually enjoyed the combat. Like the bro one was it?
Skrendel brothers.
I enjoyed them, but even on normal mode, I wasn't dying. I enjoyed it for the first half, and then I was just okay. I'm over it. So it wasn't that the boss fights were bad. I just I got impatient.
See, I thought they were cool. I see where you're coming from with them being difficult. I'm with you, Keith. That second to last boss fight, it took me a while to figure it out. And I didn't end up switching the difficulty, but that fight did kind of annoy me too. Because to me, it felt a little lazy. Because the other boss fights were unique of you having to like zip around the area or dodge or do a certain type of attack to like weaken the boss. That one was just you're stationary and just like kind of trying to solve a puzzle. I don't know. I did not care for that fight. I also didn't care for the very last boss fight. To me, that one also was just kind of, it was a bullet hell fight and it was just, it was okay. But
actually, yeah, I kept it on story mode for that too, because at that point too, I was starting to tire of it a bit.
Yeah.
And again, I wanted to finish it out, but
tired of the whole game
from there. What's that?
You were tired of like the whole game, or
I just like the boss fight in general.
Oh, just the boss fight. Okay.
And kind of I knew I was so close to the end. I actually thought we were recording like 2 weeks ago on this, so I was like, I gotta get to the end. So that was part of it. I probably would have taken my time and probably gotten my way through it. At least the last one, the second to last one, I was so done with that one. That was definitely a story mode.
Yeah, I died, I think, 2 or 3 times the last boss, and I was getting annoyed, but I just didn't care for his fight. But overall, though, I thought the boss fights were cool. They were a nice change of pace. I think I do kind of wish there was a little more from the combat, because you have these really unique guns with very unique abilities, and I was expecting to kind of have to use these abilities. Like Gus the shotgun, he can suck in enemies. So it's like, oh, maybe I'm going to like fight enemies with shields and have to like suck the shields away.
I forgot to even use it.
Yeah. Or like, the time freeze. Maybe I'm going to be having to fight some really fast enemies that I need to slow them down or something.
So it was more like you wanted more variety of enemies.
A little bit. Because like I wanted a reason to use the other guns. Because like you were saying, Liz, you kind of favor 1 or 2 guns and kind of ignore the others. Me and Keith, we both loved Creature. And so when I got him, he was what I used 90% of the time.
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing that could help liven up the combat is to have new enemies. Because you were seeing a lot of like the yellow minions, the little bugs or whatever there are, and then the tall ones that you have to keep shedding.
Yeah. So it's a minor complaint because, like I said, I still enjoyed how relaxing the combat was. It's just I wish I was forced more to play with some of these guns and characters. But I really enjoyed the platforming in this game. Like I said, this game is kind of a metroidvania. You are revisiting these areas and you're progressively unlocking new abilities, new guns, which have other abilities, which you'll explore some previous paths you weren't able to get more treasure and rewards. I actually enjoyed the aspect of like the exploration in this game because it overall was pretty easy and noticeable. You have a radar that tells you if a treasure's nearby. So I actually enjoyed like exploring this environment.
Yeah, I actually really love the format with, especially when I think it's up on the D-pad where it shows you which direction to go.
Yeah.
But there were some times that I would see a chest and I wasn't sure if I could get it yet. Like, I know that I was going to get a freezing gun. So there was a fan and a
you kept
chest
jumping in the
behind
fan?
it. Well, because there was a time or two where I almost got it, and I was like, it must be me. And then I ended up giving up. And then shortly after, you told me about the gun, and I was like, well, I just wasted however many minutes. So there were times where I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get something, or I'm like, is it in a building? Is it up high? So I mean, user error, I feel like.
Did you guys have any particularly favorite jokes? There was one kind of small one that I absolutely loved. When you're in the barren wasteland, there's a tavern you can go to, and there's a guy who does a flute solo. Did you guys discover this guy?
No, I don't think so.
Think so.
I forget what he calls the instrument, but he's one of the G3 cartel guys. And when he starts playing it, because of course he plays it badly, I was cracking up laughing at this joke. It was super dumb, but it made me laugh so hard. I loved the TV segments too. Like you were kind of saying, Keith, with the sounds of a guy in a hole. I thought some of the side humor in this game was just really clever. And I think we have to mention that there's 4 full-length movies in this game. This game is like 42 gigs. And I'm assuming 28 of those gigs is having 4 movies because it's not a very long game. Like main story, you're looking at about 9 hours. For completion, you're looking between 12 and a half to 17 hours. But yeah, there's 4 full-length movies. Taming the T-Rex, Demon Wind, Blood Harvest, and what was the last one?
Well, I'm confused. So when you sit down on the couch and you're watching the TV, those are the movies, right?
Yes.
Don't you always start in the middle of them? Because I would sit down and I would start watching it, and then I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and then I would get up.
So that was going to be one of my gripes, and I know it would be pretty hard to. I don't know how it would be possible to like program it or whatever so that it always continuously plays. But if you went in and out of a room, it would always start at the same point, and unless you proceeded like in the actual story. So that kind of got a little annoying. Like his TV inside the house always starting from the same place for a while. But yeah, otherwise, I think it would play the whole thing from that point, though, like if you sat down and watched it, right?
Yeah. And I mean, the game gives you a quick disclaimer at the beginning, too, but there is nudity in those movies. So once again, don't be watching those if young children are nearby.
And it's actually like real people, right?
Yeah, they're real live action movies. But yeah, they are bad movies. Like I actually like enjoyed watching them just because how bad they were.
Can you imagine that being on your acting credit? Like you were.
Well, one of them had Paul Walker and Denise Richards.
Oh, so it was like an actual movie.
Yeah, they're real movies.
Oh, I thought they were made up movies.
No, they are real movies.
Oh, okay. Well, I take that back.
Yeah, that's what makes it even more ridiculous. Because I'm guessing, what are these like movies that aren't under any copyright now, or do they buy the rights?
I'm assuming because they're all very old movies.
I saw people talking about that movie online, and I was like, oh, I wonder why they're bringing that up because it's a super old movie. And there was one character in one of the movies that looked like she was from Blossom. I'm like, how did they make it look that old? And
She probably was.
Yeah, and now I feel like an idiot. I'm like, wow, the camera actually looks like it's from the 90s and they're from Blossom. And not that I watched Blossom, I just remember.
But there's one, you can actually summon a movie theater. In one of the movies you watched, which is Demon Wind, there's 3 aliens in the front row and they make commentary about it. So it's kind of like watching a Mystery Science Theater movie. And I actually had a good kick out of that one because I love Mystery Science Theater. Me and my dad used to watch them all the time. So the fact that they kind of did it for this movie, Demon Wind was like the worst movie.
Which one were you laughing at like crazy when we were visiting?
It was that one. It was Demon Wind because
you were just like chuckling the whole time.
Because the aliens were making commentary to it, and it's just like, and it was funny because at one point the alien, one of the commenters was trying to explain the lore of Demon Wind. And I thought he was making it up because I'm like, this is really stupid. But later in the movie, like, no, he was explaining real lore that is in the movie. And it's just so poorly written that it was just,
like
it was
the first
funny.
5 minutes. Because I think I sat through the first couple minutes.
Oh, I watched 90% of it. I unfortunately had to leave, and I had an appointment, so I was like, crap, I want to finish this movie. And like you said, you can't pick up where you left off. So I'm like, well, I don't want to rewatch this entire thing. So that's the unfortunate bit, but yeah, it was pretty funny though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything other than the two cameos.
The final joke.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That legitimately caught me off guard and made me laugh and it was just and it was such a perfectly timed joke. Like the whole game sets up that moment and then it hits you with that joke, and it was like, that was what made all of the gameplay worth it to me. And it's so weird to say that one joke made like 9 hours of gameplay worth it, but it kind of did.
I mean, it's something we used to always say of like, what would make this game better? And sure enough, it did.
Well, don't say too much.
I know. I won't.
But you know what? Now I feel sad that we can't even talk about it. You know what I mean? We always bring it up, and we can't.
It's not worth a spoiler cast, I don't think. But my gosh. So if you don't want to play it, fine. I still think it's funny.
Yeah, you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, you can find like the joke, I'm sure. But I don't know. If you were planning on playing High on Life, like, just know that the end joke is at least my favorite joke.
Another little joke that they did, actually, that was really funny. The first, the second boss that you're fighting, you're in a forest area and you have to warp in a bridge segment. And of course it's like a highway and there's a car accident. You see these aliens fighting over this car accident, but they don't care that they're warped into a completely different planet. And what I enjoyed about that humor is because later on in the game, they decided to make like a civilization on this bridge. They have like an own community and stuff like that. And just like the joke kind of kept building onto itself. And I actually thought was pretty funny and clever.
Well, I mean, really in all levels, because the other one too, it's not as funny, but it's the kid you buy the drum for.
Because that's an achievement.
Like a famous drummer, which I didn't get because it's either missable or broken. I'm not sure.
No, it's very specific. I looked up like how to do it, and someone's like, after this boss, do this thing. After this boss, do this thing. So you have to do very specific steps to get that achievement, which is really kind of annoying.
So you kind of have to look it up how to do it.
Yeah.
So that I hate achievements like that.
Yeah, it is kind of unfortunate.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I did it at least because I see his posters all over the city, but I didn't see him perform. And I think that's the thing I missed.
You have to see him perform on TV, yeah. So maybe if you keep looking at the TV screen, he might appear.
It's either that or at least I only looked up one video, but it looked like they were in a very specific scene. But yeah, like there was that one, or again, just very inconsequential. But when you go down to the sewers the first time, the two pipes, and you decide to tell which one is more attractive, and it's just a red pipe and a blue pipe, and then
that gives Liz anxiety.
Yeah.
But then just, the entire game, you have to go through that one side of the doors, and the other one yells at you every time.
Which I felt so bad because I picked the left one first.
Yeah, you picked blue.
But then he was talking about how, like, everybody says that he's more attractive and all this stuff and explaining why the other person is unattractive. So then I flip-flopped. And he was very mad at me. And and the other person was very happy that someone finally said that they were the more attractive one.
I did the same thing, Liz.
Oh, really?
See, I picked red at the beginning and I stuck with red.
I don't remember which color was on what side.
Red's the right side, blue's the left side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I started with the left side and then I swapped to the right side.
See, like, I think a lot of those kind of small little jokes is really what makes this game shine. Like, I wish there was less explicit kind of jokes. Because to me, like, none of them really hit that hard to me that made me, like, crack up laughing. But I will say the thing that I really enjoyed about High on Life 2 is the environment. Like, the worlds that you explore are actually really beautiful. And not only that, also tying in with the music, but like it's just like a vibe of like each of these worlds you're going to. And I loved exploring them. Like Blim City, for the most part, is small, but there's a lot going on in it.
I was going to say they all kind of feel a little small to me, even though like you're looking at like they're kind of vistas, I guess.
Yeah.
But they look bigger than they actually are.
Yeah.
So for me, like I actually felt like they felt small, but I do like how different they all were. They were very beautiful. I pretty much knew what not to step in. Although I did like I usually if I fell into something, it was an accident, but I knew not to go in there, like, you know, the slime river and stuff.
But also was very forgiving, though, when you fall in the rivers.
Yes, yeah, it was. Because I don't think you lost any of your money or anything.
No, you lose a little health, but then it just teleports you right back up, and you regenerate the health, so it's like, whatever.
Yeah, and I like that you could kind of buy what you wanted.
Yeah.
Upgrade how you wanted. There wasn't a lot of stuff to upgrade. Like, you're not really upgrade, but like you're adding to your health. You're adding mods and stuff. So I liked there wasn't a lot of it, but the desert place was really unique too.
Yeah. Did you ever run out to the outer rims of the desert and get attacked by the monster?
No, but I remember like when you first get there and Kenny's complaining because we have a mask or a helmet and he doesn't. And he's like, sand's getting in my eye. And he's like complaining about it. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Sucks to be you. Is it like, do you just instantly die?
Well, it teleports you back to base, but it's just kind of funny because it's a giant sandworm, but then it has like kind of a baby face and it even like makes a noise like wah, and it attacks you. So it's just kind of goofy looking. But I don't
know if I ever did that.
Oh, really?
I wish I did.
It's kind of goofy looking. It just makes like a weird noise.
Yeah, I don't remember having any complaints really. I actually played this game a while ago now, so I didn't go back and refresh myself, but I don't remember having any issues with it. But yeah, I don't think it was stand out to me, at least that I can recall.
See, I liked all the cities environments you went to. Like, it is impressive because, Liz, you are right. Each map is actually pretty small, but I think they're so well designed and so well woven into each other that it actually feels like you're exploring this massive city. But in reality, it's really not that big. But I loved just the overall like art style of this game. Like, I loved the design of all the Gatlians. Like, actually looking at them, they actually look like they're flesh. And I'm surprised there wasn't more inappropriate jokes with your guns about like you reloading them or like shooting them. But like they don't explain too much about like the Gatlians as a race, because it is kind of weird. Like, they are guns. They don't walk at all. Like, how did they have a civilization? How do they have a city? Like, how do they travel and walk around, and how do they reproduce, and do they create a completely different gun? Like, I don't know. It was kind of like, I wish this game had more backstory.
I wish I read online that someone said that I think it was Kenny looked like Nemo, Finding Nemo.
Oh yeah, he kind of does. His
I couldn't
face.
stop seeing it. I wish I didn't read it.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, he kind of does.
Looks like Nemo.
Kenny,
the
oh yeah,
first
I can
gun.
see that.
But yeah, graphically, I don't think things were too vulgar. It was mostly just the jokes, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is actually true. Yeah, there actually isn't too much visually inappropriate.
Because all the alien porn, like it doesn't look like on the screens, or what I guess.
Well, at the very end, you put a bomb up someone's butt.
Oh my goodness! I saw you. You were showing me something in that scene, and I take that back.
But that's like the only thing.
Yeah, but I think like that, especially with like the jokes and stuff, I feel like it overshadows the actual funny bits, you know?
Yeah.
Because when I'm with talking about humor, I'm thinking of all like the stuff that I didn't like. That I was like, that's too much. But you guys, like hearing you guys talk, I'm like, there were a lot of funny bits that I didn't even remember. But I wanted to talk about music because there was that same music every time like a wave came or like a battle,
the battle music
started, and it really wasn't the best battle music, I will say. I kind of was just over it like halfway through the game. But what do you guys think about the music?
I really liked it. To me, it's very unique. And to me, it just felt like it was going for a vibe. And I think it nailed it. Like, because that's what I mean. It really helps with this kind of relaxing of a first-person shooter that this game is. Like, if you're just a stressful day and you like, this is a perfect game to kind of blow off steam of just, like I said, you don't have to do these crazy moves. You're not fighting crazy hard enemies. To me, it was just relaxing, exploring, getting treasure, listen to the humor. I loved the music.
I don't really remember the music except for, like I said, the battle music, which is unfortunate because you really liked it.
I agree with you with the battle music. The battle music did get a little repetitive. But overall, though, I thought the music was great. And I think the voice acting's overall really,
I love
really
the
good.
voice acting. I didn't particularly like some of the characters. Like I said, like Sweezy, I think is her name. I didn't like her character, but I think all the voices fit.
Oh, yeah.
I've forgotten about the music too. I remember being like synthy and techno-y at times. And same thing, like it didn't bother me. I really was just looking really to get more dialogue out of it as I played through.
Solid work, guys. We've only been doing this podcast how long, and you guys still forget about music.
I was remembering to listen to it when I did. Like I said, I remember it being synthy and techno-y.
Plus, I feel like, I mean, you guys don't even like my music taste when it comes to video games. So, I mean, aren't you kind of happy I don't always pay attention?
What's your music taste on video games?
Graveyard Keeper.
Do you even remember what that even sounds like?
I do.
I don't, but I remember I didn't like it.
But it's funny because like I feel like I like every genre of music. Like I'm not really like, oh, I hate country or I hate classical, or which I think are the two main ones, but I really do love music, so it's kind of surprising that You right?
Sorry, my chair got very squeaky there.
Very squeaky.
You need a new chair.
I know.
One thing that, Andrew, you kept talking about when we were playing with the achievements that you thought were hilarious. You were number 1 this week with 770. You got 27 achievements. Keith, 720, and me, 225. Keith, didn't you get the most last week? What game was last week?
Yeah, Vampire Survivor.
Yeah. I forgot to... I don't think I patted you on the back for that. Good job. I mean, you didn't beat Andrew this week, but you were close.
Well, I know at least one of them is broken for a fact. That was the one I didn't get the achievement for getting creature.
Oh, so you really got 26 then.
Oh,
I mean,
and I technically had achievement that I wasn't supposed to get.
Oh, okay. See,
so you guys tied.
In here, we're even.
Yeah, I was playing this game mostly on xCloud, and I signed on, and it gave me the achievement for collecting all the trading cards, which that's another joke that I thought was kind of funny. You actually have Garbage Pail Kid trading cards you can kind of collect in this game, like their version of it, which I thought were kind of funny. But yeah, it randomly popped up for me that I collected them all, and I was like, okay, sweet, thanks.
So the ones that you're missing, is it mostly like get all the chests,
Yes, get all the chests, get all the challenges, which, this is another quick gripe with this game. There's 2 things that I think are very important in this game that they don't explain to you. Well, not very important. Well, one of them is. But you pick up mods for your guns, which there's a difference between mods and then perks. But there's some things you don't have to equip for your guns, but the mods you do. And they didn't explain that to me. For the longest time, I did not equip a mod on my gun till well past half the game. Because I noticed I was picking these things up where it's like, oh yeah, Sweezy will detonate her things after you reload, but it wasn't working, and I'm like, what am I missing? And then eventually I figured out I have an inventory and I have to equip it onto my gun. They don't explain that to you.
Which that guy at the beginning that's part of your suit could have very easily told you.
Yeah. And then not only that, there's also a kind of a goofy moderator board where people are in a chat room and talking about things, but that board is full of challenges. Kill so many enemies with a knife, kill so many enemies with a certain gun, or kill a specific type of enemies. And when you do these challenges, you get a lot of extra currency in the game. And yeah, there's an achievement to complete all those challenges. But once again, they did not explain these challenges.
I didn't know they were there.
Yeah, I just noticed a pop-up every once on the top right saying, kill 30 enemies with a knife. Here's 500 pesos. So I was like, okay. I was like, I don't know what that means. And eventually I noticed that there was a chat room board where people are talking and there's some jokes there, but I didn't care to read too much. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of challenges you can do. And it's like, oh, well, that would have been nice to know.
Yeah, I thought I was trying to go for kind of poking fun at Reddit or whatever.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you when I found it, but it was kind of the same way. I just was poking through menus and I went, oh, okay, here's this. And I kind of stumbled across the inventory of my mods and stuff too. So yeah, I don't recall it being explained. I could be wrong, but I found it the same way. So hot tips from the podcast.
Yep. Make sure you go into your inventory and look at the administrator board.
And I think it's fixed now. Because that was another one that I don't know if I would have gotten the achievement necessarily, but I was unable to because all of a sudden the boards were just locked and it wouldn't show me any of those things.
Oh, that's what was broken for you?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I couldn't even like access to see any of them. And
Oof.
yeah, I guess I looked it up and I guess early on there was a bug for it that's patched, but you had to like restart the game. And I think I was 3/4 of the game when I realized it. So I said, nope. And I did not do that.
Yeah, surprisingly, Squanch Games is really good with coming up with patches in this game. When this game first came out, it had crazy bad frame rate issues. Like I saw a lot of videos of the game dropping well below like 30 FPS. But I think day 2 of the game being released, they came out with a patch that fixed it, and I think it now runs at 60 FPS across the board. But yeah, they've been doing a really good job kind of fixing the bugs. I did not encounter too many bugs, besides like those few little ones, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two pretty big ones because they were achievement ones. But as I said, I only know for a fact that one of them actually prevented me from getting the achievement.
Yeah.
I don't know if the other one did for sure.
But overall, I do recommend it for achievement hunters. Like I said, it's not a very long game. You're looking like 12 hours, and you can get a good chunk of the achievements.
Kind of wish I had looked at them before because I would have gotten so many more.
Yep. I do at least recommend you look at the achievements beforehand. But I will say, what I loved about the achievements, though, is they use the achievements as a joke for a couple of them. And I thought it worked really well, and I enjoyed it. So the achievements, I think, are actually a lot of fun. So I'm commend this game for using the achievements in a humorous way. But yeah, let's get into our final thoughts here on High on Life. So for me, like I said, I was very lukewarm with High on Life, but I was very pleasantly surprised with it. Its combat is very simple, which I think is a perk. Personally, to me, it was a perk because it was just, this game is very relaxing. So if you're looking for a pretty humorous game, don't have to worry too much about it, you had a rough day at work, this is a great game to recommend. The humor may not always be spot on. Some of it's a bit childish and just gross for the sake of being gross. But the jokes that do hit, I thought were hilarious. I really enjoyed the talking guns, which, another quick thing we forgot to mention, nice feature. I don't know why you would, but it's at least nice that you have the option. If you go to the options, you can turn down the frequency of how much the enemies talk or how much your guns talk. So if you just find your guns annoying with their rambling, you can turn that off. I don't know why you would, because I never got annoyed with the guns talking, but cool feature. Yeah, I do recommend High on Life. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought the boss fights were fun and interesting. For me, though, I'm going to give it an 85. I wish there was a little more depth with the combat. I absolutely would love a sequel to this game. I thought the environment was a lot of fun to explore. I just think, the story could have been better. I would have loved more backstory. I did not care. Like, I agree with you, Liz. Did not care for Jean or your sister. They were just there talking random arguments, and I could care less about them. But yeah, the music was nice. The environments were good. 85.
So I'll just kick right off and actually say I was going to give it an 85 as well. So I actually agree with your score.
Ooh.
But yeah, I kind of had the same thoughts where I was a little hesitant about what this game was going to give me. And honestly, it really delivered, I think, almost exactly what I was expecting. But I found it more entertaining than I had thought I would when I was originally looking at it. So overall, I did find it enjoyable, aside from it getting, a bit tiresome at some points. Yeah, I thought it was, like you said, Andrew, when it hit so well. And then otherwise, I was just kind of like, kind of funny here and there. Another actual kind of interesting kind of joke, but side thing is, and I can only think of one specific time that I saw, but even using different guns could change the way the gameplay went.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated how much detail they put into really everything. And so that's where it shined the most for me and what I think I liked the most about it. So yeah, I stand by that 85.
Well, I feel like my score is like too high because I was going to give it an 87.
Here I thought I was like, are we gonna have a perfect?
You're kicked off the
actually feel
podcast,
like
Liz. You're not
85
with
is
us.
the perfect because like 87, I didn't like it as much as you guys did. But I feel like I'll do 86 because now 87 seems too high. But I'm like, is it 80? I don't know. I feel.
I like how long we've been doing this.
But you know what? It's a high 86 because.
I get it.
That's not what I was going for.
Okay, never mind. Then you're not clever.
I'm not clever. I feel like there's some things that are a bit too much, and then with the story and character development, I don't think they did the greatest job at making me care.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy the combat. It wasn't very addictive. I'm 85. I'm gonna give it 85. I'm talking myself down. I'm gonna give it an 85. But looking at Metacritic, 68 and 8.1, and our fourth and silent co-host is back.
68. So the critics don't really like it.
Yeah. So I actually have a couple reviews. The first one's a critic who gave it a 30, and the headline is "But why though?" Anyone who isn't thrilled at the idea of having is it Roland? Is that how you pronounce it?
What?
Roland?
Royland.
Constantly chattering in their ear for a dozen hours straight will likely find the game's incessant need to force itself on the player annoying. With the addition of uncompelling combat, frustrating exploration, and a lack of anything else to offer players, High on Life is one of the most annoying, derivative, and slogging experiences in years.
He could have turned off the gun chatter.
Yeah, well, but you know what? I feel like it sounds like he just doesn't like the voice actor.
Yeah, because honestly, the I didn't think the traversal was bad at all. I liked it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Justin Roiland might not be a good person.
Oh yeah, he just recently got charged with domestic violence.
I was gonna say, I wonder like what the creators are like based on the humor, but then I was like, wait, I think one of them was recently in the news about something bad, so I didn't want to mention it. But
yeah, it was him.
And then someone who accidentally gave it a 0, because the rest of it's good. I'm just going to read the first paragraph because we did play Pentiment. I'm actually speechless that critics are dumping on this and at the same time praising Pentiment as some sort of second coming. Pentiment was complete, utter, self-serving agenda, shoving lazy trash, and he goes on to it, but he talks about how he likes farts humor and stuff. But I just thought it was interesting that somebody kind of compared it to Pentiment.
That is very odd.
But yes, our fourth and silent co-host gave it a 0, of course. I feel like you guys were in
I was curious because
Farts.
because he always says, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like he likes fart humor, and sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah, I feel like he wasn't fully bashing it. The beginning of the game is thunderous and overflows with a humor quite particular, not to say basically stupid and provocative, even silly and irreverent. I always struggle saying that word. And particularly vulgar, with a well-seen allusion, private joke to Fallout 3, of course. But all this quickly turns in circles. The gameplay turns out to be repetitive and very mediocre. Simple and reduced to its simplest expression, without nuance, stupid and brutal. Shoot things with your talking gun. And it's because he talks BS, is a full word, about it. This gun, it looks like, he's the one that said it looked like Nemo. All these increasingly inane dialogues that speak for nothing are also very tiring. When you don't shoot, you jump and hang on. This is just, he goes on talking about, it looks like an Indian, 256 colors. It doesn't keep 60 frames per second. And he talked about the levels being cramped. So he goes on.
He said when you're not shooting, you're jumping. Isn't that like most games? Like that's like every first-person shooter.
Maybe he doesn't like platforms.
If you're not shooting, then you're exploring and collecting things. Like,
I mean, a lot of times I was jumping during combat because I was trying to get away. Yeah,
that's a weird complaint from him.
Another thing, I really do like that. I didn't have to pick up health packs or ammo. Your health
you can, and it's just like bonus
you don't
health.
Get hit. Yeah, but you don't need it. So that was actually very helpful for someone like me.
It helps with like the relaxing environment of the game.
But I was surprised by the reviews.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been pointing out that the critics have been like dumping on it, but the users have been loving it. And I don't know. I can see why some critics don't like it, but it's just, this game isn't for everyone. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it. It surprised me.
I still miss Rick. I'm just going to Put that out there. It made me want to watch Rick and Morty just to watch Rick.
I actually want to say, did you guys catch any Rick and Morty references?
Well, like I said earlier, there was that thing that I caught on to because I had seen it on Rick and Morty. But
what?
That, like, the person that, like, kind of betrays you or, like, tricks you.
But that's not really quite a reference, though.
No, but it was, like, a part of the show, so I immediately knew, like, it kind of spoiled it.
Yeah, but this game has a ton of references to, like, anime, to other shows, and other games. But now that I think about it, I don't think there's a single Rick and Morty reference.
I feel like they can't because it is so similar. This is like practically from an episode of Rick and Morty. There are so many episodes.
Exactly.
Like
so
this.
people who like that show, you think it would be kind of like a nod, like, hey guys.
I think it'd be too much. I mean, you already have the sister that's similar. You have the plot that's similar. I mean, there's two. They already put too much of Rick and Morty in it.
I thought it would have been like a very funny joke if they actually had like Rick make a cameo and pop out.
See, that would have made it even better. Like, I feel like
that would have been a very funny joke.
They're missing Rick.
Yeah.
That's what they needed. Or a poster, a wanted poster.
Maybe the closest is like is Gene's watching TV and your thing is it's kind of like the interdimensional TV.
Yeah, but that's not quite a reference.
Again, no, it's not a reference to it. It's the closest I would say though.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that he keeps making stuff like Rick and Morty. Where you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like the newer seasons of Rick and Morty haven't been as good. Like, why, if you're just going to make things that are like Rick and Morty, why don't you just focus on making the best seasons? Because he talked about how, like, you know, like thanking fans because, like, they were being patient with him because he wanted to work on other projects. But it's like, are they different projects? Like, why can't you just give me better episodes of Rick and Morty in the later seasons?
Well, so here's actually a question. Would you have liked this game better if they basically framed it as a Rick and Morty game? Because it wouldn't have taken that much difficulty, I don't think. It's all very out there sci-fi humor. It's very vulgar. It could have very much even been that you were playing like a story that's inside of Rick and Morty. You know what I mean? Unless they contractually couldn't because Dan Harmon or something. Like, would it have been better if it was just Rick and Morty?
Yes, I 100% think so because for me, like there were episodes of Rick and Morty that really hit you in the gut. There were episodes that were really funny. The family dynamics, like it was all about like the characters and the actual story. This, I feel like it was missing all that. It was missing the charm. It was missing like the characters that you actually care about. So Rick and Morty, it's like heck yeah, more like I know I said this a bunch this episode. And I'm repeating myself, but Morty is the worst character of that show. And this is, I mean, he is essentially, you know. So for me, it's like, yeah, I think it would have been way better.
My answer is yes and no. I say yes because, like, one of my things, like I said, that I didn't like for this, I didn't care for, there was no really backstory or character development. So if this was a Rick and Morty game, like, if you were a fan of the show, you already kind of have that backstory and character development and stuff like that, and you could easily grow off of it. But I also say no because then this game is more of, hey, this is for Rick and Morty fans, and I feel like there would be more of a barrier of people entering and enjoying this game. But it is, once again, on Game Pass. I don't think people would care that much. I think people would probably still check it out. I don't know. I think overall, maybe, yeah. What?
Wouldn't people like Rick and Morty more? Because I feel like a lot of people aren't going to play this game because it's vulgar and it doesn't have the story. It doesn't have all these things. I mean, I feel like it would be a great introduction to Rick and Morty. But I think that I guess their jokes, the crudeness and stuff, that's going to deter people more than Rick and Morty.
Yeah, you're probably right. Because, I mean, right now on Netflix, Cyberpunk Edge Runners just came out. It's an anime, and it was so incredibly good. Cyberpunk, the game, 2077, was like #1 on the Steam charts for like a month. It's still way up there. Like, it brought a lot of people into that game. And then now, most recently, HBO just released The Last of Us. Very good first episode. And sure enough, that game is now like being sold like crazy. So yeah, if they came out with a Rick and Morty game like, and it was like this and it was very good, it would draw people to Rick and Morty because it's already been proven now with a couple really good shows.
And you could have multiplayer. I mean, the sister is actually like,
yeah, she
could
have
a lot
been
of combat now, and then you have Rick and Morty. You could have up to 3 people. I mean, you can't really have the dad or the mom. They kind of.
Now, Squanch Games did make a Rick and Morty game. It was just it was a VR game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still torn about it myself. I'm kind of with you, Andrew. Like I think there's parts of it that could have been better, but I also think it would have. I don't know. I think I would have liked it less personally. I do think that it would have made the final joke that much funnier.
Oh yeah.
But that's just again kind of knowing Rick and Morty and everything. But all that to say is, yeah, I'm kind of in the middle myself. It was just more a thought I had.
I do apologize. I was a little over opinionated this episode, but just because I love Rick and Morty, and I was actually a little disappointed. I was so excited about this game.
Yeah, how dare you give an opinion to people on a review podcast? How dare you?
I was just like, this is one of the games that was on my like must play for this year.
Oh yeah.
And so for me, like I think that's why.
So you were overall a little more disappointed.
Yes, and I always get like I feel like a little more heated and stuff when I'm disappointed. Where I'm just like, I wanted to love this game.
That's why you're mad at me every day, because I'm just a disappointment to you.
Wow, you make me sound like the meanest wife. I'm not saying that I'm not.
No, you're not. I kid. But anyway, let's wrap it up here. That was a good question, Keith. If you have any game suggestions, please email us at gamepassgrabbing@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on our Facebook or Twitter at GBGBpod. I've been your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird01952.
I've been Keith, and that last question was my outro.
And I'm
It's really lazy.
I'm Liz Noob, gamertag Commandant, and I'm on Twitter at Liz Noob. Noob is the
All right, everyone. We love you all. We'll see you again next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.